this weather video, we're going to be talking about the severe weather threat that will be impacting the plains and as well as the Midwest going into the Great Lakes over the next couple of days, finishing off this week. We also are going to be talking about a severe weather threat going on into the weekend as well as to very early of next week. We are also going to be talking about a flash flooding threat affecting from areas in the northern to central plains in parts of the Midwest. Today, we have a slight risk of severe weather, mostly northern plains for the most part. As you can see, that includes most of South Dakota, a little bit of Nebraska, northern Nebraska, northeastern Wyoming, and southeastern Montana, as well as southwestern Minnesota. Biggest risk for this day is going to be the hail risk, which we do have a 15% chance of in the yellow, basically meaning 15% being like 15% chance of hail within 25 miles of a location. And then if we have a conditional risk, which is this dotted line, basically it means that larger hail could present with these storms. So we can see that we have a 15%, but also with a Category 1 risk. Mainly this time for southern and western South Dakota, northeastern Wyoming, extreme southeastern Montana, and a little bit of northern Nebraska. Then for the wind, we have just a 15% chance, really mainly just for, again, the South Dakota, a little bit of Minnesota, Wyoming, and Montana. We do have a tornado risk. It is just a 2% tornado risk, mainly again for just South Dakota, I would say South Dakota. Over here, anywhere between Omaha and Kansas City, also for northeastern Kansas, southwestern Nebraska, northwestern Missouri, and southwestern Iowa, which 2% is very low, so we could have an isolated tornado or two within these areas. For tomorrow, June 5th, 2026, day one, by the way, is June 1st, or June 4th, 2026. For June 5th, we have a risk of severe weather for eastern Nebraska, most of Iowa, basically all of Iowa, and southern Minnesota. For this day, our biggest risk is also going to be the hail risk, which you do have a 50% chance of from Nebraska to Wisconsin, with the 15% really confined to Nebraska and Iowa with this dotted line. Then for the wind threat, we also have a 15% with a hatch risk. Mainly this time, the 15% is from Nebraska to Iowa and to southern Minnesota. We just have a hatch risk confined to the Nebraska-Iowa border. For the tornado threat, it's only a 2% tornado threat for eastern Nebraska and central and southern Iowa. I do see there being a chance of a 5% tornado being along any of the center state corridor here. I forget what it is, but really for southeastern Nebraska and southwestern Iowa, possibly could be a 5%. I'm not guaranteeing it, and it might not happen, but I'm just saying there could be a chance. June 6, 2026, we have a slight risk of severe weather for the Great Lakes as well as northern plains, very northern plains into Canada. But for these two areas over here, we have Ohio, northern and central Ohio, western Pennsylvania, and extreme western New York, and also the northern panhandle, West Virginia. Over here, very extreme northeastern Montana and extreme northwestern North Dakota, we have a slight risk of severe weather. They do not come out with a hail, wind, or tornado threats, but I'm going to say for both of these areas for now that our biggest risk is going to be the hail and the wind threat, possibly an isolated tornado or two within these yellow areas. For June 7th, 2026, we have a slight risk of severe weather, which is this yellow, for really just west and central North Dakota. Talking about the flooding and flash flooding risk, for today, June 4th, 2026, we do have a slight risk of excessive rainfall, as they call it, which basically is flooding to flash flooding. For northeastern Kansas, which does include Topeka and I would say some parts of Kansas City suburbs and neighborhoods, it doesn't also include Omaha, Nebraska, and Des Moines, Iowa for most of central Illinois. This yellow is a 15% chance of flooding, again within 25 miles of a point, flooding or flash flooding, as we could see in this area from storms. For June 5th, 2026, we also do have a slight risk of excessive rainfall, flooding, flash flooding, really for just southern Iowa this day. So areas really within southern Iowa and northwestern Missouri and southeastern Nebraska could have a problem as they will be in this slight risk of flooding, flash flooding twice in a row, which could cause ponding and flash flooding to be possible in areas. What is the exact timing for these storms? So far right now, as I'm making this video, we have some action going on across the Nebraska-Iowa border. But as we get through on the evening, late evening, we're gonna have some of these showers pop up in and around the Dakotas, Minnesota, Nebraska, and parts of eastern Montana. Some of these storms clusters can produce gusty winds and large hail, and even an isolated tornado or two through the night. In most areas of South Dakota, if not all of South Dakota, is going to be really the main threat for this, but also areas in southern Minnesota, as we can see. The darker the red into purple could mean hail to large hail possible, with gusty winds and even an isolated tornado or two. This does all move away by tomorrow, moving towards Iowa, as you can see that we do have lines of storms forming in down here. So we are going to be keeping an eye on that for sure. Next thing we're going to be talking about is temperature probabilities over the next week or so. Most of the country is expected to be above average for temperatures. We are getting to summer, so above average is really nothing out of the norm. However, except for areas in the northern Rockies could actually see below than average temperatures. So definitely cooler temperatures up there for you guys in Idaho and Montana. Then over the next 2 weeks, the Climate Prediction Control Center, or CPC, has issued above average temperatures for basically all the country except possibly near normal average temperatures for the very northern plains. For the next week of precip, majority of the country is going to be slightly above average for precip. Maybe areas along the west coast and northeast are going to be just a little bit drier than average, but otherwise it's going to be mostly, I would say, normal to slightly normal for precip. Over the next 2 weeks of probability precipitation, it's suggesting that slightly a little above average for precip for the central and eastern U.S. Parts of the Pacific Northwest, however, we could find to be a little bit below average. That is going to be it for the rest of this weather talk. So if you guys like to see another hunt weather video, I suggest that if you do like these weather videos, that you guys like and subscribe and also to share with other people as well. Quickly before I end the video, most of the summer, if not all of the summer, I am going to be taking your guys' suggestions on what I could do to make weather videos better, because I do want to make better predictions at the end of the day to make things more clear. So if you guys have any ideas for me, feel free to say things and ideas in the comments, and keep them appropriate, please. And I will see you guys in the next one. For real, goodbye.